Hey guys, DT here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're here for the first time. In today's video, we're taking a look at my top 3 favorite free-to-play decks for players in Arena 10 trying to push into Arena 11. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the deck that made it to number 1. So for those of you that are not new to my channel, you know that I'm absolutely obsessed with the Mega Knight Inferno Dragon Princess deck. This is a classic take on the bait deck, and I absolutely recommend having the Furnace in this deck. The reason being, guys, is because more and more I am seeing players using minion hordes and minions, and sometimes also a mirror. So you really need to make sure that you can protect that Mega Knight with the power of the fire spirits constantly spawning through the Furnace. And of course, you can also, have an advantage of on your opponent if your Furnace is high level, and therefore you can constantly get a little bit of that chip damage from the little fire spirits. So I've pre-recorded these plays actually last night because I didn't want to talk about the decks. And look at this. It's a classic example. There is a minion horde there, and my opponent is also using a mirror. So Furnace is going to come in super duper handy here. So the winning condition in this deck, without a doubt, is the Mega Knight and the Inferno Dragon. Inferno Dragon, if locked into the tower, is absolutely deadly. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. So if you're going up against somebody with Inferno Dragon, you know what to do. You need that zap absolutely to reset it. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of walk through how I'm playing this deck usually. Depending on what combination of cards I get in the beginning, I kind of, switch the style of what do I place first. But of course also, having the awesome, goblin barrel there, and the princess and the goblin gang is just going to wear down your opponent. Now, my opponent here is coming in with the Golem deck, and guys, we have a perfect counter. We have an awesome Mega Knight. It can absolutely do serious damage. However, you have to be careful and kind of wait it out and see how your opponent is playing, because should there be a supporting card behind the Golem, you really need to make sure that you address that card before you actually go ahead for the Golem. So if my opponent dropped, let's say, a wizard behind the Golem, I would have had to taken that down first, because it would actually take out my Mega Knight. So right over here, my opponent is using his mirror, using the lightning, and we're just gonna go ahead and take care of that goblin gang. First tower is gonna fall down super duper quickly, and from here on, we're either going for a smooth sailing and going for 3 crown, or we can continue to defend. And guys, this deck is fantastic at both pushing for 3 crowns and also getting the first crown super fast, and then holding on and sticking to your ground. Now here we're gonna go ahead and drop the Knight. Knight is a fantastic card for the amount of the elixir it costs, and right over here we're actually taking down the wizard first, and that's exactly what I was talking about. You need to take out that supporting card beforehand. And look at those those minion hordes. They are coming down, trying to take care of my Mega Knight, but we have the Furnace and we have the Princess. So all of those things are really, really important. This deck does not have heavy spells. I don't have lightnings, I don't have rockets, I don't have poisons, or even fireballs. So you really have to continue to wisely rotate and making sure that you have pushed for the victory at the right time, understanding how your opponent plays, just like you would with every single deck. But this deck is so good at just overwhelming your opponent, getting that victory by throwing your Mega Knight down and the Inferno Dragon. Guys, I 100% recommend you use this deck. If you have these cards, you have to try this deck. So if you have questions about how to use it, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. If you don't have certain cards, you can ask me in the comment section about the substitutes. But of course, some of these cards are so particular, so it's really hard to actually substitute them with anything else. But if you have any questions, ask me in the comments below. And now let's go ahead and move on to deck number 2. Alright, so at number 2 we have the deck which features the Golem and Night Witch. Now this one also brings back one of the cards that has not been used for such a long time and recently made a huge comeback, the Tesla Tower. You know what I'm talking about. You remember how a few months ago everybody thought, what happened to the Tesla Tower? It was barely ever shown and ever played in the game, and now it is just constantly in my opponent's decks. I see it all the time, and guys, for the elixir it costs, it is fantastic at taking down your hog riders and supporting you on the defense. So go ahead and bring that Tesla Tower back. It is 100% worth it. And in this deck, I am using a combination of my Night Witch and the Golem. Now, Night Witch here is also really fantastic because we can actually help out with really heavy pushes, like for instance this Mega Knight here. Now I would have been absolutely out of luck had my opponent had the Zap to also help out to take out my bats, which are also part of this deck. Now this deck is a bit expensive, 3.8 elixir, so if you are not very comfortable playing super heavy decks, go ahead and ask me in comments below what substitutions I would recommend. But check out that Tesla Tower, taking down the Prince, and now we have this minion horde coming in. We're going to take some really heavy beating, but it's okay. And look at the heal coming in super out of nowhere and just taking down that tower with the minion horde being continuously healed up. It's okay though, because now our opponent down in the elixir and we are going to punish him really hard. Now let's go ahead and wait until we're up on the elixir. Sometimes I play really aggressively and I just constantly dump my elixir, but this was not the time. I decided to hold off and start with my Golem push. Now from here on, we're going to collect ourselves. The Night Witch is going to go next. We're going to let her be a little bit further behind so she can help out with the Hog Rider. Now the Wizard is coming in there. We're going to use our Musketeer on the Wizard. We're going to place her right in the corner so she's not affected by the fire spits of the Wizard. Now the Wizard is down. We have a Mega Knight coming in, so the bats are going to be a huge help. Again, should my opponent have had the arrows or a Zap, this would have been a very different play, but you have to always just play it by ear. And now that my opponent is down with the elixir, we are going to go ahead and push hard. Very desperate push there with the spell. And now guys, look at that Night Witch. She's absolutely annihilating the King Tower and 3 crown victory. So if you have these cards, go ahead and give it a check. This is kind of a take on a classic deck with the Night Witch and the Golem, but I've decided to throw in a few cards that I don't typically see in that deck, such as the Tesla Tower and the bats. Now go ahead and give it a go. Let me know how you liked it in comments below, and let me know if you have any questions about what you can replace in the deck should you not have certain cards. Now let's go ahead and check out deck number 3. This one here is a lot cheaper than the last two and is really great for those of you that love to rotate your cards really quickly and keep the pressure up on your opponent. In this deck, my winning condition without a doubt is all about the mini pekka and making sure that the Princess Tower is distracted when mini pekka gets there, because it can crush it. You know it, I know it, so let's go ahead and check out how this works. So in this deck I have 2 legendaries, guys. I have the Inferno Dragon and the Miner. Inferno Dragon is probably one of the earliest legendaries that we get in the game. I think it actually is available in Pekka's Playhouse, which is really early on. You only need about 1100 trophies to get there, so I imagine most of you already have it. If not, go ahead and let me know in comments below if you don't, and I will suggest something to replace that card with. Now in this deck we have our Ice Golem, which is really great at tanking for you. You can make sure that you pull away E-barbs and all the other heavy pushes from your opponents. And look at that, this is exactly what I was talking about. Make sure that the Princess Tower is not on the mini pekka and that tower is going down, because mini pekka is a mini monster, guys. Super powerful, without a doubt. One of the best cards to keep the pressure up, and fantastic at defending too. Hog Rider is coming, mini pekka, 2 hits. That's absolutely all it takes. So let's go ahead and continue on through this, guys. Now you can also, of course, kind of use this deck a bit differently, and your winning condition can be the balloon. You can get your miner in there, make sure that the Princess Tower is on the miner, and then the balloon comes in, and next thing you know, the tower is down. So there are multiple things that can secure you a victory in this deck. Even though it's a little bit cheaper, it took me a few times to kind of get a hang of it when I was kind of putting this deck together, but you absolutely have to just check out the power of the the combination of the Inferno Dragon and the balloon and the mini pekka and the miner together. What a fantastic combination. I don't see it very often when I play in ladder on my free-to-play account. By the way, all of these decks are on my free-to-play account, so if you're a free-to-play player, you should have no problem putting these together and having just as good of a result. I am currently pushing into Legendary Arena with these decks, and I will tell you, sooner or later, we are going to push into a league on my free-to-play account, and that's going to be a huge accomplishment with these very decks, guys. Okay, so the Inferno Dragon. Like I said in the beginning of this video, when it locks in, it is deadly, however, easily distracted, so keep all these cards to kind of support the push if you are trying to rely on the Inferno Dragon for the victory, but here I'm recommending to use the mini pekka as the winning condition and the balloon. Balloon here, I kind of have to throw in just to distract the minions and then move on with the defense because we only have 33 seconds left and I'm trying to hold off. Now, like I said, it is a much cheaper deck in comparison to the last two decks that I just showed you. So if you are more comfortable using the quick rotation decks, go ahead and give this one a go and just take a few times, and you may not win immediately, but take a few times to get used to it, and then I guarantee you're going to absolutely love it. The mini Pekka's power is undeniably just so amazing, guys. It gets to the tower and it only takes a few hits and you have yourself a victory. Then you can defend or you can push for 3 crowns. I chose to defend in this situation, and here we are, guys. All right, guys, so these are my top 3 favorite free-to-play decks for players in Arena 10 trying to push into Arena 11. Go ahead and give these a go. Let me know if you have any questions about the mechanics of each deck and whether or not you need certain substitutions should you not have other cards that are required for those decks. I'm hoping you're going to have great luck and push high into Arena 10 and eventually get into Arena 11 using these awesome decks. I will see you in the next episode, and until then, DT is out.